2 Eppies American.
A stunning start to a murder trial that seems made for TV. Police body cameras showing officers trying to resuscitate Eric Richins as his emotional wife stands by. Now the 35-year-old on trial for his murder, accused of having an affair, poisoning Eric multiple times, killing him, then writing a children's book and profiting off her family's grief.
What's your first name? Yeah, let me talk to you later.
The dramatic body camera shown for the first time. Prosecutors alleging the tears are all a ruse.
The evidence will prove that Kouri Richins murdered Eric for his money.
Prosecutor Brad Bloodworth says in March of 2022, the 35-year-old mother of 3 poisoned her husband's cocktail with fentanyl at their home near Park City, arguing that she was millions of dollars in debt and needed him dead to inherit his estate and millions in life insurance.
The evidence will prove that on the day that Eric died, Kouri Richins owed over $4.5 million to over 20 different lenders. On the day that Eric died, his estate was worth over $4 million. And she believed that she would benefit from nearly $2 million in insurance on Eric's life.
But Kouri's defense attorney, Catherine Nestor, arguing that there is no evidence Kouri poisoned him with fentanyl.
You know what you're never going to hear is how that fentanyl got inside of him, because there is zero evidence of that.
Prosecutors also alleging that Kouri was having an affair and wanted to start a new life with her boyfriend.
Kouri Richins booked a $4,000, 5-night, all-inclusive vacation for her and her boyfriend, Robert Josh Grossman, at the Secrets St. Martin's Resort and Spa in the Caribbean. They were to check in the month after Eric died.
Eric's death was thrust into the spotlight after Kouri wrote a children's book on coping with grief, giving press interviews.
My husband passed away unexpectedly last year. It completely took us all by shock.
In 2023, a year after his death, Kouri published Are You With Me? About an angel-winged deceased father watching over his sons. She says she wrote it to help her children cope with the loss of their dad.
It's just comforting to them to know that, they're not living this life alone. Like, Dad is still here, it's just in a different way.
A couple months later in May, she was arrested for his murder. She faces nearly 3 dozen counts, including aggravated murder, attempted murder, forgery, mortgage fraud, and insurance fraud. She has always maintained she is innocent, speaking out from behind bars in audio released to ABC News last year.
What I've really done is protect Eric at all costs. What I really didn't do is murder my husband. I could not and would not ever do that to Eric, or anyone for that matter. I will not give up. I will not give in. Please, just give me a chance.
Her family standing by her.
I do not believe in my heart Kouri could ever not just kill Eric, but kill anything or anyone.
She loves her boys way too much to take their father away from them.
In the early hours of March 4th, 2022, a seemingly distraught Kouri called 911 after finding her husband unresponsive on their bedroom floor.
The autopsy of Eric Richins showed that he died from an overdose of fentanyl, that he died with 5 times the amount of fentanyl that could kill a single person. Fentanyl is a very powerful drug, but having 5 times the amount that could kill a person is a lot by any standard.
According to court documents, Eric's family says he warned them if anything happened to him, Kouri was to blame. Eric's sister Katie testifying that she immediately told investigators to look at the wife.
Did you tell the officer that you were suspicious that Kouri may have been involved?
I let her know that Kouri had stolen money from my brother, and I thought she needed to know that. I had no idea what was going on. I just had an overwhelming feeling. I had just barely talked to my brother. He was fantastic. When I had talked to him just a couple hours before, I had an overwhelming feeling I should tell someone about this, so I did.
The prosecution says Kouri had previously attempted to kill Eric 2 weeks before his death, on Valentine's Day, purchasing fentanyl pills from her housekeeper, Carmen Lauber, and putting them in Eric's sandwich. According to charging documents, an unnamed close friend said on Valentine's Day, Eric took one bite of the sandwich and then broke out into hives, eventually injecting himself with his son's EpiPen and drinking a bottle of Benadryl. Prosecutors say Eric later called another close friend and said, "I think my wife tried to poison me."
A few days after that, Kouri Richins asked Carmen Lauber if she could get something stronger. The evidence will prove that those illicit pills contained fentanyl.
Then prosecutors allege Kouri put those pills into her husband's cocktail in March, killing him. Authorities say they also uncovered a digital trail that showed after her husband's death, Kouri was allegedly Googling things like, "What is a lethal dose of fentanyl?" and "If someone is poisoned, what goes down on the death certificate?" Her defense team says none of her searches indicate guilt and emphasize that those searches were done after his death. They also argued the prosecution's money motive can't be true, that he had recently moved all his assets into a trust that Katie controlled, and that Kouri knew about this.
If Kouri wanted to spend some money out of the trust that was authorized in your opinion under the trust, it would be your job to say, yes, here is the money, and give her a check, right?
Correct.
The defense painting a picture of Kouri as a successful businesswoman, that in March 2022, Kouri and Eric had a lot to live for.
Kouri was about to close on the biggest real estate deal that her company had ever done. You're going to hear testimony from one of Eric's closest friends that in the few weeks before Eric died, he and Kouri were the happiest together that he'd ever seen them.
Her defense also arguing that Eric, who worked in stonemasonry, took pain pills, and that Valentine's Day sandwich reaction could have been from that, arguing there is no evidence fentanyl was in that sandwich.
That people who use oxycodone or hydrocodone, like that bottle said, also tend to have allergic reactions. They can have very similar symptoms if you use pain pills to the symptoms described of what Eric experienced on Valentine's Day. Eric suffered from pain a lot. That he suffered from knee and back pain. He also had been diagnosed with Lyme disease. He believed he had it, and he claimed to people that were very close to him that he suffered with intense bouts of pain that he believed was related to Lyme disease.
The defense even suggesting that Eric could have been the one who purchased the fentanyl.
Just a few weeks before Eric died, guess where he was? Mexico. Guess where the fentanyl comes into this country from? Mexico.
The most anticipated testimony could come from Kouri's so-called boyfriend and the housekeeper, who prosecutors allege sold Kouri the fentanyl pills.
The defense doesn't have to prove anything in this case. The burden rests solely on the prosecution. We're just scraping the surface of this long-awaited trial and beginning to see the prosecution's case.